Hey everyone, welcome to GTM Secrets, everything about go-to-market, sales, marketing, RevOps, you name it. Today I have on Allen Thornton, who's got a pretty impressive background, but Allen, I don't want to get it wrong, so mind giving a little bit of background on yourself, man?
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, Stephen, I want to thank you for having me on today. Not forgetting about the little people, man. Had an opportunity to do these, and this is really special because you never know where these conversations can lead from a customer standpoint partnership, and we look forward to doing some really good things in the future. So, just a little bit about me. As Stephen said, my name is Allen Thornton. I reside currently right now in Houston, Texas. I've been in tech for about dating myself, man. Like it's 2024, almost 10 years now, 14 years now in 2010. So have been in various different tech companies from coming straight out of college and selling HCM software, selling on to EMC. And even before that, I went to college at UTSA. And in college, I bartended and I sold insurance, right? So I took some of that same pride and that same hustle into the enterprise market. Started selling HCM software with Paychecks. After
Yep.
that, I went to EMC, and EMC, which most of you know, merged with Dell later on. But the EMC culture, those are the guys that made the money, man. That's where you really learn enterprise software. You learn Medic. You learn how to close deals. It's almost like boiler room. You're in the QBRs. You know, somebody gets fired almost every time, but it really sustains and gets your the foundation of how to do enterprise software. You better know every single stack, what the metrics are, who you're supposed to get to, what the decision criteria is, right? Going all the way through. There better be some pain. And if there's not a compelling event, you better create one. So really learned that at EMC. After that, I also sold ERP software at a company called Infor. So you learn really quick in technology. Anybody can sell with a big name. Now, you really learn how to sell when you're not the biggest name. And I
Yep.
learned that, right? Being a tier two, when Charles Phillips left Oracle, he went to Infor, revamped that. And, you know, it was always SAP, Oracle, and we were the third tier. And a lot of times you learn how to sell because ERP systems like the electrical system in your house. You're not going to rip it out right away. So you learn
Nope.
how to sell the edge products, right? The things that people need that you can be really good. It doesn't matter if you're one or two. And that's before cloud was cool, right? Like in 2014. So being able to take a new acquisition or something to the cloud and integrate it into the existing ERP system that they had and can do it, you know, cost effectively, and it worked great. We built a business just around that one play. And this is before Alex Hormozy, right? He has that $100 million offer, but our
Yep.
$100 million offer was just taking people to the cloud, not going after the core application, but just selling on the edge. So
Yeah.
that was a phenomenal experience. After that, I went to a company called Rubrik, and my VP called me. I was traveling all over the country. He said, "Hey man, I know you have a young kid and you're traveling all over. Come on home, man, and sell at this small startup." Shout out to John Elliott, man. Got me started at EMC and really helped me at Rubrik. And that was a excellent experience, having something that was really disruptive in the industry. And I got a taste of how that works. Fast forward, I was there about a year. You fast forward into now, a couple months ago, that company went public. So you start to
Okay.
learn that those stock options that you get are real. Because at first it's like, it's kind of pie in the sky. But then you're like, damn, okay, this can really happen. So after that, it was during COVID, and I said, look, if I've been selling at all these software companies, I got to take a shot, man. And I started my own company, and we had a SaaS-based company that we helped with grants and government contracts. Phenomenal business. We ran that for about 3 or 4 years at the worst time during COVID because we were good at what we did. But a lot of our customers, we got to a point where they couldn't pay us. And, you know, our account receivable got over 7 figures, which,
Ooh,
yeah, if you know,
small
you
business,
can't pay
that doesn't
24
work.
employees. Yeah, you can't pay them with air. So I'm like, okay, it's got to pivot. I'm going to take that and, we're going to use that. And that happens so many times in life. You think it's a dead end, but everything you have you'll be able to use, and it'll come to fruition for you somehow. And
Yeah.
that's when I went to Salesforce. And Salesforce actually hired me because they said, look, we got this new division. We got Tableau, which we bought. We want to integrate it into CRM, and we need somebody to really run it up and help us sell in all these different regions, this particular product. And we saw that you've done that with Rubrik, you've done that with your own company. So let's go. And I was able to do that. And we had a really good time there. And this is on the cusp, right, of AI in 2022, when that was really starting to blow up. And, unfortunately, about 2 years later, you saw a lot of companies like doing big layoffs.
Yep.
So during that time, and I also wanted to, during that time in 2022, this is something I'm really proud of. I also started a conference, and we help underserved kids get financial literacy, and we hold a tech competition as well. It's actually grown, usually minority kids, but everybody's welcome. But we hold it on MLK and Juneteenth. It's become the largest conference in the world on those times for financial literacy. Yeah, man. And we have the belts and everything for the tech competitions. You can see it on my LinkedIn. We give away about 500 laptops with all of our partners and sponsors to the kids. They get all the content. They can learn new things in technology. So we've been doing that. It's our 7th conference is coming up in January, MLK. But after, so Salesforce, back to Salesforce, they did a huge layoff, and a lot of companies, right, did a huge layoff. And I said, look, this is good. I love what I've learned here. And I started doing consulting here and there for customers that are trying to really take what they have to the next level. And that's when I got the call from Gen AI, right? All the different things that you do throughout your career, it's not a straight line, but they'll call you and they said, look, we're a startup. We built one of the largest communities in the world. We're looking for somebody that really, knows how to sell Fortune 500, but also has enough grit and grind to run and build why they fly in chaos with the startup. So that's when, where I am now, got the VP job at Generative AI, which is the largest LinkedIn and the largest AI network and community in the world, and have built it in less than 13 months. So bigger trajectory right now than OpenAI, than Google at this point. Absolutely phenomenal. So.
Yeah, it's interesting. And by the way, like I was telling you before we hopped on, I'm a big Salesforce nerd.
Yeah.
Ran a RevOps agency. I literally just signed a 5-year contract with Salesforce. I'm all in, man. And I swear you've worked at half the enterprise software companies out there. You missed Oracle and Microsoft, and that's about it.
I sold against them. So yeah, we were in the room. Yeah.
I get it. So it's interesting. Generative AI, first of all, the growth is insane. So kudos to you guys. But for those that don't know, I think the way that I described it, just confirming with Allen to make sure my research was right, it's like product hunt for AI products, or as you put it, Gartner, or one of those Magic Quadrant sort of a deal. It's really interesting. And I think you probably are more aware of what's going on with AI tools than almost anybody. So my first question to you, being, go-to-market podcast, all about sales and marketing. I'm an enterprise sales guy, a marketer myself. You don't hear much about generative AI or even AI in general in marketing outside of content. And the only time that you hear it in sales is predominantly voice recorders, analytics, transcribe your calls, summarize, etc. And those are cool. Those are great. We use both of those at Identity Matrix. But what are some of the other applications that you've seen AI be useful for, specifically when it comes to sales and or marketing?
Yeah, so that's an excellent question. And just like you've seen right now, the AI landscape is going to expand tremendously because people are still trying to figure it out, right? If you look at the .com and you look at when things started going to tech, and everybody says, what are you? I'm a tech company. Well, everybody's a tech company now, right?
Yep.
Like you have to have tech. So we're going to start to see AI in people's minds come out of a silo. And every company, if you're going to survive, is going to be an AI company. Like you have to have AI within your stack to be able to survive. So to answer your question, from a sales standpoint, you're going to see, and it's getting a lot better, right? Before, and many of you have gotten like the AI calls, and you see some of the,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, and you're like, oh my God, this robot is calling me, click. But you're starting to see some of those things get really big and get really intuitive. We have a couple customers. You talk about NL Pearl. You talk about some of the things from a brand in real estate. I have a company. I just visited them. They're good. They're blowing up right now. There's a company right now called Journey from an AI landscape, and what they're doing in the real estate space is aggregating everything and payments and everything on one dashboard for all these people that have Airbnbs in the hospitality industry, and helping them get their payments and everything faster and automate that whole process. There's another company, and we're talking about sales and the way that you live. We have a big conference in Dubai, GITEX, the largest in the world. We're going to do an exclusive. So if you're in Dubai, shoot me a DM on the golf course at the Emirates golf course. This company, write it down because it's going to blow up. It's called golf.ai. They're one of the first in sports marketing. And one of the things, and I've done this in every single business I'm in, you take people out to games, right? You entertain them. Sports marketing and AI and helping people either with analytics, right? I played fantasy with my customers before. I've played golf, not very good with almost all of my big enterprise customers, but helping them with their golf game with AI is going to be huge. And being able to, if you can improve your customer's golf game, you're going to get a deal, right? That $1 million deal you're on the golf course for, incredible.
I don't golf with customers because I'm too horrible. I love golf, but just doesn't go well with me. I want to go back to something that you said. I'm looking at NL Pearl right now, and I know you named a couple.
Yep.
You're telling me that AI is getting good enough to actually make sales calls and me not flip the middle finger and hang up.
Yeah, I mean, before, right, like if you did 3 months ago, I'm hanging up every time.
Yeah.
Because, hi, and then it's a 5-second lag, and then it's like, oh my goodness, why are you guys doing this? And it's almost like, hey, WTF, take me off your list. But now it's like a real intuitive conversation on the back end. You look at some of with the Salesforces, with the Go High Levels, with whatever the HubSpot, whatever CRMs you're using, it's integrating directly into that. It's a seamless process. And all of those, I don't think it's at the point, you'll see this probably in the next 90 days because AI is moving fast. It's not at the point where it can replace your closer, but I think it's at the point where it can replace a discovery call and really understand, hey, that money authority needed timing, and let me, like a hybrid in between, and let me get you to a person to basically know if you have that money authority needed timing and get you to the right person, or say, hey, with an automation, this is great. Doesn't sound like you have the budget right now. Let's keep in touch, and then send them to your community or send them a low ticket price offer, whatever that is. That can save thousands. You're going to see big like call centers of thousands of people. At Salesforce, we had BDRs and SDRs all the time, right? Thousands of them. You'll see that be replaced over the next, 6 to 9 months. And there's a lot of fear in AI, Stephen. Like people are like, oh my goodness, AI is going to take my job. AI is not going to take your job. The educated person that knows how to use AI is going to take your job.
A lot of people will disagree, but I think if AI takes your job to a certain extent, it's your fault.
100%.
And it's like people being mad about horse breeders going out of business when cars came around. It is your responsibility to upskill yourself and make sure that you are not replaceable.
Yes. Like you got to you have to increase your level of skill. You
Yeah.
can't grow without a challenge. You can't fly without gravity, right? You need that challenge. But yes, if you stay in that same thing where the computers came out and you were just, you knew, hey, I can type 60 words a minute on a typewriter and I can spell really good. And then the computer came out and did that. Okay, well, now you have to do something different and you have to upgrade your skill set and do something else. And you still have a job and probably an even better one because you're more valuable and you can do more things. So you just have to level up, man.
Here's a hot take, and I think a lot of people won't like this, but when it comes to, the strike that we lasted like a day or two, right, out on the seaports on the East Coast, part of their agreement is that they will not allow automation. None. That boggles my freaking mind. I don't want to see anybody put out of a job, but on the other hand, we are literally saying, no, you cannot innovate. We will not let you. You will not automate anything. That to me is just mind boggling. That makes no sense.
You know what they're going to do, Stephen? They're going to agree to it. They'll be like, okay, yeah, we'll do that. And then they're going to agree to another deal to buy them out and automate everything just so they can satisfy. You're going to see that, right? Even with Uber right now, the big play for Uber was never just, hey, this platform. It's the autonomous cars to have the platform and the runway everywhere to lay down in the old days, right? Lay down the railroad tracks and they own the world, right? So you see they've been testing it for years. So all these Ubers, these hundreds and thousands of Uber drivers that are driving, they're going to be out of a job, but that's okay because instead of driving, go buy a fleet.
Yep.
Right. And have your own autonomous cars. Go by the service center, go by on the Uber Eats, go by a hub. You have to, if you stay where you're at, you're not going to survive.
No,
you just got to change it.
Absolutely not. Now, I'll give you some room to plug some of your customers and whatnot at Generative. What are some of your favorite AI tools in a growth stack right now? I know, broad. I'm leaving it wide open.
So one of my favorites, man, and you can go through there almost. So every single week we publish a couple lists. We publish, and if you're not following us, follow us on LinkedIn at Generative AI. You can go through the largest community, so over 5 million followers. You can see the top tools, and you'll start seeing them for different industries. We're going to break it down. If we don't have your language, we're going to start transcribing it in different languages. I like read.ai. They're doing a great, once you come through and they have the next level in transcribing things in different languages. I love and hear, so as a Salesforce guy, a lot of my people are probably going to get some rocks thrown at my DM, but Go High Level is another CRM that's really coming in and doing some things. And from an AI standpoint, they're really making some noise because they're building from kind of the ground up and putting some of those AI tools in what they do and being able to do that right away. And even on the edge things, people like you, right? You have a 5-year contract, but it may not be with some of those AI tools that may be cost prohibitive for a smaller business or a smaller enterprise to do across, and it integrates with Salesforce just for that one thing, kind of like the edge. Yeah, I'll get some rocks in the DM for that, for sure. But
I'm not a GHL fan.
Okay.
Know it. I certainly know it, and a lot of some of my customers use it. It does not fit the UI. Maybe it's just the UI. I agree that they have some cool AI, but the UI is disgusting. It's just my 2 cents.
Well, so, I mean, you're talking about literally David and Goliath. Salesforce has been doing that for 30 years, right?
Yeah.
So they're the best in the game. They're gonna and you're talking a couple of years. So of course it's not going to be as, robust. When you talk about the Sales Genie and some of the things that people are doing, from not only transcribing, but sending automatic meetings and being able to transcribe those and taking those next steps and putting meetings on the calendar. And I actually worked at EMC with Topper, the CEO of Calendly. you're going to see them integrate some of those AI tools. You're starting to see Zoom do that as well, because some of the smaller guys were eating their lunch. And what you'll see, and this is a big prediction, right? What's today? Today's October 7th.
7th, yep.
You're going to see, and here's more rocks in my DM, you're going to see in the next 18 months, a few AI companies get $1 trillion valuation. Here's why. AI right now, if you know how to fundraise, if you just have a really good product, it is trading, or you're getting valuations at 50 to 100x, where tech alone was getting 10 to 30x. Yep. Now, along with that, and I saw this in the storage industry, right? The startup storage industry, were nimble and all that, because I was selling EMC, they got bought by HP and all those different things. You're going to see large AI companies go out and buy like 100 AI companies at one time.
Yep.
Aggregate all of their revenue and create like super machine AIs for everything and own the whole stack, and then raise money based on that and get a huge, right, $1 trillion valuation. As you see different industries like transportation, that as that starts to mature and all of the different autonomous vehicles go out there, a lot of people are going to be like, dang, what's next? And then you're going to see a lot of those Uber drivers be on the other side and be almost operators of 10 different Ubers at the one time. Because at the end of the day, you still need some type of human component. And all of those tools and all of those aggregations and all of those things at one time are going to create some really big numbers we've never seen in our life.
I like it. One of my, and they're a Reed competitor. Reed is good. I agree. Reed.ai. Have you tried Fireflies at all?
Fireflies. So I like Fireflies too. I'm biased because I push my clients. But
they're both good. They're both good.
Both good. So two other companies, and you're going to see this in the real estate industry. There's a company actually here in Houston, Texas, that are taking pre-builds for real estate to another level, both virtually and in the metaverse with, it's called Authenticus, right? And you're going to see big buildings. Like there's a visualization gap when it comes to buildings. And like I see this in Dubai, people come here all the time to Houston and they say, hey, we got this great property in Dubai and it is great. And they show you a brochure, which is cool. And people literally, they'll put down sometimes $500 to $1 million down payment to have this because the numbers work. But when people can see it and people can visualize it and people can be there, and you have a platform that can house all your inventory and everything and all of your pre-sales, you're going to see a lot of those. You're going to see like 100 Dubais be built all across because Dubai 15, 20 years ago was dirt, man.
Yep.
Straight dirt, straight desert. So you're going to see a lot of those cities get built from an infrastructure, from a hotel, from a tourism standpoint, because people can see it before it's actually built and they can experience it. And you're going to see a lot of that money literally shift, especially as a lot of these tech entrepreneurs and these AI companies make a ton of money. They're going to need a way to put it in. What we've seen is you look at every billionaire's portfolio, there's real estate in it, right? So that is going to just blow up over the next, just 18 months as well.
Are there any AI cold email platforms that you like? And I'll preface that by saying I hate almost all of them. The one that's going nuts right now is Clay, which is basically...
Hey, that's funny that you mentioned that.
It's the only one that I've found interesting. Now, we're enterprise Apollo clients. They've got a little AI personalization and whatnot, but
it's not as robust, I don't think.
No, it's not. So is Clay your favorite right now?
So for outreach, there's Clay and there's also, I think it's Key Play, but Clay is two different types of things, but Clay it's incredible.
Play?
Yeah. But that's more of that's for more like enterprise account targeting. And like one of the things I'd go to when I was at EMC, I'd go visit my Cisco rep, my market, and say, hey, let's account map. And we'd waste a bunch of time. It was a good time, have a few drinks, take a couple shots of tequila, and find one or two counts. right?
Yep.
Now you can do that. Your reps can have I still want my reps to go do that, right? Go build a relationship, but do this before, find out exactly. Then you're talking about setting meetings during that time and having a lot more. Leave that account mapping session, right? I love it. Have a good time, but leave there with 10 meetings. And you do that by cross-pollinating all of your LinkedIn, aggregating all of your contacts, all the spend on your side and their side. And you don't have to hand over a bunch of information. It does it for you automatically, which is huge. Another one is when you look at what people are doing, like we have webinars every single month, and we have, thousands of people on those. We have millions of followers. Seamless.ai, being able to automatically pull contacts for everything within, because I used to get a VA to go out, hey man, can you search all these people, search all their email? And yes, it was cost effective, because a lot of these people, we were paying them good wage for their country, like in the Philippines or Colombia or Africa, wherever they might be, and they were able to get great work. But now tools like Seamless AI, you can do that, and literally with the click of a button, have it enriched and everything, and have thousands of contacts with all the information they have in LinkedIn, and then it's verified and everything. So a lot of the manual work you're going to start to see disappear. A lot of the enterprise people are going to go into meetings more prepared. They're going to have better insights. You look at, even in our business, right, the media and everything, there's a platform out that said who sponsors it. So if you're looking for sponsors, they aggregate all the data and see where people have done things from a media buying standpoint. So I'm able to go in the meeting and say, hey, look, I want to increase my relationship with you. I know that you're doing, X, Y, Z, and it literally shows their spend based on 270 different data points, and being able to do that and go there educated in a meeting, and then sell them on your value proposition. All the guessing of what they're doing in other platforms is gone. Now we're just talking about a deal and how we can partner strategically.
Yeah, no, that's super interesting. And I already told you and I are going to talk about a partnership 100%. In the next week or two. Here's the last question for you. So you worked in Salesforce emerging markets, and you alluded to the fact that was it their analytics cloud or was it Tableau?
No, so it was in between. So they bought Tableau, and they renamed it like 5 or 6 times. But it was CRM analytics at the time. It's changed it. I think it's Data Cloud now. But it was essentially all of the different, they had the legacy Einstein analytics, they had Tableau, they were kind of marrying all those two and selling in the enterprise into core and being able to offer that wall to wall. Salesforce is all about, like, they are the best in the world at driving demand, finding out what somebody's demand is, and giving you a compelling offer to go, I want all of your seats, I want all of your time, we're going to do a 5-year deal, and it's going to make sense to you on paper.
Data Cloud is like, at least part of it's a CDP, right?
Yeah, so it's analytics, and they've also put in some of the new AI tools with an acquisition that they just bought.
Okay, so in emerging markets, were there any top 3 trends or so that you saw outside in a little more tactical than everyone's implementing AI? But what were some of the emerging trends that you saw?
So it's a little different. When you look at Salesforce and you look at emerging markets for Salesforce, it's not the emerging markets that you're thinking about. So emerging markets in a normal company is like, hey, those companies that people haven't heard of. In Salesforce, it's people that aren't spending, $5 million a year with you. So you may have a multi-billion-dollar company that's segmented in a different division that's just not spending a certain amount. And then you go after them. Yeah. So it's a little different.
They have 3 sales licenses instead of 3,000.
Yeah, correct.
You got
to find out, where those are and why can't we, really increase, where's the relationship? So, but one of the things, as you say that, there was a new division that we were really heading up. And like I said, real estate, I think one of the biggest opportunities in this world is real estate, because it really hasn't changed that much. You see companies like, and granted, whatever your thoughts are about them, They built a very fast, different company, and they were able to help people do more with less. Is WeWork, and people are like, WeWork, that's a bad name. They succeeded at some point. There was some things in their business model that could have been changed, but we saw that there's a lot of spaces that can be aggregated, a lot of spaces that can go big, and that construction and engineering space is going to be huge over the next 18 months. And there's a lot of companies that have money that they want to, because it's almost like a dual-sided platform. You can buy real estate and own the dirt, and then you can also build on top of it and really have an AI and a tech platform that can get you, 50 to 100x. So it's almost like, I live in Houston, and I think change globally right now, you can buy a house and you can buy a piece of land, but you won't own the mineral rights, right?
Yeah.
You'll own what's under it.
Yeah.
Right now, and companies haven't figured that out. You can go buy the dirt in tech and you can own the mineral rights. So the mineral rights right now, data is the new oil.
Yep.
And as people understand how to, stick their flag into the ground and really understand your platform, go get a bunch of users, get them globally, and really get the data, people are going to build platforms just based on the data that they have, right? And you're going to see a huge change in that trend here in the next 18 months.
Well, as someone who owns a company that has 5 trillion new data points a month, I agree with you.
Do $1 billion valuation, man.
Like I said, you and I are going to talk, Allen. Allen, really appreciate you coming on, tripping over my words here. Really appreciate you coming on. I think that making this tactical and not just talking about AI as a concept like every marketing podcast does is super helpful. I know you threw out some good names. I wrote a couple of them down, so I'm going to go check them out. If people want to connect with you, what's the best way to do so?
The best way right now is on LinkedIn, because that's where, especially if you're raising money and you are an AI company, because that's where we focus, right? We focus on AI companies that are literally trying to raise money and get there, because all of the top VCs, and they come to our events. Like, we're going to have a private event in Dubai, also in Portugal, at We Summit here in November. So connect with us. We can help you. It's going to, just like anything else, there's an investment to do what we do, but we'll get you the right placements. We'll help you get there literally 100x faster. If you are trying to learn AI, because AI is a buzzword until you really know how to use it. And you don't need to boil the ocean and quit your job and just learn everything AI. Find what you really like and use AI as a competitive advantage in that one spot. And we have education tools that are at no cost right now. Join our LinkedIn newsletter is free. You can check it out. And then as we've hired some of the best engineers from like OpenAI, from Google, from Microsoft to teach our education. So you're going to see that come out, and then underlie it. And how we get paid as well is a lot of the great tools out there that are doing great things. You will see some of those tools if you want to, just like Google does, right? You have all your platforms, and then the ones that want to be sponsored and really get more reach will be at the top. And we vet those. We don't put anybody there. We make sure they have customers, they have case studies, and the product works. So you'll know that it's good there. So the biggest thing, takeaway, educate yourself on AI. Because if you don't, there's 2 sides of this thing. Actually, there's 3 kinds of people in life. There's those who make things happen, and that's who you want to be. There's those who kind of watch things happen, like, oh, well, Stephen, is AI going to take my job? And then there's those where a lot of people are going to fall, unfortunately. There's those that just wonder what happened. Dang, I got laid off because AI took my job and my whole department, and that's your fault. Because you didn't educate yourself, you didn't get ahead of it, and you can literally do that for free. So follow me on LinkedIn, follow our company, and look forward to helping each and every one of you in the future.
Love it, man. Again, thank you so much, Allen.
Absolutely. You have a blessed day. Have a great one, man.